I take a deep breath and bring myself back into my center because there's so many thoughts going on in my head right now. I mean, I have down on paper where to start, and then there's this, and then there's that, and then there's that. But what I'm going to start with is what we celebrated yesterday. We celebrated Reverend Dr. Trish Hall. We celebrated a person who has had so much impact here at Center for Spiritual Living Metro. But what we found out yesterday was the impact that she has had all over the world. And as I was contemplating this morning, doing my quiet time, what came to me was we did not have a retirement party yesterday. We didn't have a retirement celebration. The word that came to me was we had a re-inspirement shower. You know, we have baby showers, we have wedding showers. We had a re-inspirement shower because what happened yesterday was love was showered on Reverend Dr. Trish. She was showered with the love, and it was in each and every one of us who were there, whether you were on Zoom or in person, were showered with that love and showered with that greatness. And there were times yesterday when it was daunting that there's no way I can do this. I had exactly what Libby was reading about. I was allowing myself to be taken over by limiting beliefs because of the greatness of this person that we were showering this love on. And what came to me as I contemplated that, actually through the night, was I'm not going to follow in Reverend Trisha's steps. What I'm going to do is step into that place where she ended this piece of it and she moved off. She has that courage. She didn't have it. She has it. She has the courage to take that step into the unknown, the known and the unknown. It's the image that always comes to me is Indiana Jones standing on that cliff, and he has to put his foot out for the invisible step to show up and come underneath and support him. And so she's walking out on that path, and she's not gone. She's not gone from here. She's still my mentor and my sponsor. I'm getting ready to go through the ordination panels, and Reverend Trish will be carrying me there with love and joy, and until the end of July. And so what I will do is I will come and I will stand there, and the step that I take as senior minister and we take as CSL Metro is to take everything that Reverend Trish has done, everything that we have done as a team. And we have built a garden. And now it is our turn, our job, our passion for this teaching to take that next step, to take it and allow that invisible step to come and support us as we move forward. And so there's some people I want to thank for this opportunity that we had yesterday to shower Trish with love, to shower everyone who was there with love. I want to thank the team that put this together. I want to thank Corinne Hamilton and Gail Renwick, Sandy Menacing, Abby Navarro, Jason Mohammed, Josh Van Tassel. Came together. We all came together and just created this environment, created the decorations were beautiful, the atmosphere was beautiful. It was real great food. So I'd also like to thank the Bolger Center and all of the people that supported us there, and in particular Samantha Hollister. I'd also like to thank our team, Mindful Solutions, and in particular Sherry Cunningham. Sherry was on the phone with us for anything that we needed yesterday to help us along. And it was a team that put that together. And that's what we are here at CSL Metro. We are a team. And what became very, very clear to me yesterday as I move into this position is Trish has planted many seeds in this garden. Each and every one of them is an aspect of love. Each and every one of them is an aspect of spiritual magnificence. And now we must prepare the soil. We must prepare the soil to make sure that it is full and rich and to nurture all of these seeds. That seed that we call CSL Metro, that seed that we call whatever our name is, because each of us have been touched by her, and each of us is a seed planted in that soil. And so today, I find it very, I love how Spirit works because it knows long before we do. And the global theme for Centers for Spiritual Living this month of April is called Fertilizing Our Future. And when I saw the topic for today, enriching our soil of possibilities, I was like, how could that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Because we are the gardeners to prepare this soil, to allow these seeds of love, of spiritual magnificence, of creating this world that works for all. We are here to nurture ourselves and to nurture this center and to nurture this teaching. And there's a saying that I've heard ever since I came into this teaching that we're the best kept secret. Well, you know what? That's because we have been putting the roots down into the soil, and let's start to sprout now. Let's stop being the secret and let's let people know exactly how beautiful we all are. And so when I was looking at this and coming, getting ready for this, a book that really hit me, came back into my memory. I read it a while ago. I may have even still been living in California. I'm not sure. I read it when it first came out. And it was by Wayne Dyer, who was a person of this teaching. And when I was in California, Southern California, the Huntington Beach Center was very happy to say that he was a member of our center as all of this was unfolding. And the quote that came to me from that, the book is called I Can See Clearly Now. And in that book, he looked back at everything that happened in his life and how that fertilized the soil for him to be who he was in the moment. And it was declaring, it was understanding, coming to that understanding that there have been no mistakes made, none are being made, and none can be made. And so we look at our past. When we look at our past with those eyes, we see what Wayne Dyer saw. And what he said is, I look upon those early years as a path that I was directed to traverse, the necessary beginning baby steps I needed to internalize in order to have self-reliance firmly implanted on my consciousness. And so let us reflect on the past. And let us look at both in our individual lives and our collective life as CSL Metro and our collective life as humanity. that every challenge and experience has a valuable lesson for us. And that we can all enrich this soil of our inner lives. And as we enrich that soil, as we allow whatever has happened to us in the past not become a burden dragging us down, but look at it from that perspective of what was mine to learn from that. How was that bringing me to where I am today? And we can look at it from that perspective. And now what happens is we look at it rather than what dragged us down, which is what Wayne Dyer did in this book, I Can See Clearly Now, is we look at it from that perspective. When we shift that perspective and looking at it as what have we overcome? And seeing that each hurdle that we have gone through, whether in the moment or later on, has allowed us, has given us the opportunity, and we took that opportunity to dig deeper within us and find new ways of thinking, new ways of acting, and stretching beyond our comfort zone. Josh Van Tassel had put out a questionnaire to people about how Trish had had an impact on our lives. And one of the things that became really clear to me, because in the moment I may not have been too happy about it, is that she was frequently, I won't say always, but frequently, felt like always, giving me the opportunity to stretch beyond my comfort zone. And I have to say, the biggest one is today. And I want to thank her for that. This is not a step that was easy for me to take, as some of the people in Connecticut may know. What happens is when we take those opportunities and when we go back and we look at it with that different pair of glasses from shifting from the burden that it was to what have I overcome? What have I been through? And I'm still here. It provides us with an understanding of our own capabilities. It provides us both as an individual and as an organization. And in this case, I'm talking about the organization of CSL Metro. And us as individuals, we can get a stronger sense of self. We can look at the lessons that we've learned and the wisdom that we've developed and the strength and the confidence and the clarity that we now have. So let me tell you a little story. There were 2 grains of wheat laying side by side in fertile soil. And the first grain was saying, boy, I want to put down roots deep into the ground, and I want to sprout from the ground, and I want to dream of blossoming and creating these delicate buds, and I want to feel the warmth of the sun and the dewdrops in the morning and the rain that's going to fill me and feed me. And and you know what? That grain fulfilled itself. It grew and it provided wheat. And the other grain sat there as this one was going on about its dreams and what it wanted to do, both of them being in the fertile soil. The second one says, I'm afraid. I'm not sure if I put my roots down deep in the ground, what I'm going to find there. And man, if I grow shoots, if I let myself come up out of the ground, I could get damaged by wind. I could get hit by a hailstorm. I could be, and if I did that, the grain that I'm growing, the flowers that I'm growing are going to all be destroyed. I think I'll wait for a safer time. And what happened is a bird came along looking for food and ate that second grain. because it laid there on the surface, afraid to put roots down, afraid to sprout out. Let's learn from our past. Let's be that first grain. Let's have a clearly defined dream of what it is we want. Let's put those roots down. Let's sprout out. Let's become the flower that we are. And we do that by nurturing our dreams and the seeds that are in the soil. And we create an environment that encourages our dreams to grow. We create an environment that is full of the rich loam that has the nutrients in it, that allows the rain to soak in so it can reach our roots. And so how do we do that? Well, we start by setting a clear intention, an intention, by defining what is our goal or our aspirations. And then we give some direction to those efforts, and we focus on our energy. And one of the things that I know is very important to me is to be vision led. And I don't just mean vision by having a mental equivalent, or what I like that Dr. Trish says is that another thing I've learned from her is a sensual equivalent, because it's beyond just vision. It's feeling the whole experience, which is important to do. But I'm talking about visioning where we go into the silence, and we allow ourselves to go beyond our imagination. We let that go and allow spirit to just download to us. And even though in the moment that we're doing a visioning session, it may not come, I guarantee you, I promise you, I know because it's my experience. I am here in Virginia because of visioning on what was my ministry. What was Spirit's highest expression of itself as my ministry? And when my son and daughter-in-law said, well, he's only a month old, but we should start looking at what we're going to do. And at the 6-month mark, when I go back to work, and I said, well, what if I'm his primary caregiver? And boom, every obstacle got moved out of the way, because once I said that, and once I went back home, I won't even go into, that's a whole nother story. But I was that grain laying on the top of the soil going, I'm afraid to set my roots. And every obstacle got removed. Setting a clear intention, being vision led, and then surrounding ourselves with supportive people. Surrounding ourselves with people who will support what we want to do, what it is our desire, our dream is. And one of the things that has worked for me, and I think Jason, you'll relate to this, is having an accountability partner going through ministerial school. I've had several of them, but I have one partner who every day I was ready to quit and I contacted him. He had the passion and the vim and the vigor, and we kept going. And on days when he was ready to quit, I was the one with the vim and the vigor. And on days when we got together and we were both ready to quit, all we had to do was go back and change those glasses, the way we were looking at it, and change it from a burden to what have we overcome? What have we gone through right now up to this point? So when we surround ourselves with supportive people, we can celebrate our successes because they celebrate their successes. We can find comfort during those challenging times. And then the other thing we can do is dedicate time and energy to it. Because one thing I have found in my personal life, is we need to be consistent, and we need to put our attention to what our intention is, because what we know is that energy is going to flow where we put our attention. And so making time, maybe it becomes a priority. and we put in the work. We put in the work that's necessary to realize that dream. One of the spiritual gurus that I've loved reading her stuff. I've met her in person. The practitioner that I use actually was one of her students for a long time, is Jean Houston. And something that she said really resonated with me. Just as you would not neglect seeds that you planted with the hope that they will bear fruit and vegetables and flowers, so you must attend to nourish the garden of your becoming. And I say that to each and every one of us as an individual. And I say that to all of us collectively as CSL Metro. Our beloved Reverend Dr. Trish has helped us has prepared this garden for us, has planted seeds, and each and every one of us being that's one of those seeds. And so now it is up to us to have that same hope. If you are a gardener and you plant seeds and you know what's going to grow, but you also know you need to enrich it. You need to water it. We need to fertilize it. We need to sing to it. And so what we do is prioritizing the long-term health of our soil. And a way to look at this is quick fixes versus a long-term health of this inner soil that we have. Because I know all of us have crazy lives, and there's so much going on around us that we can just get caught up and just I'll just put a Band-Aid on that right now. I always want to have a little story about my grandkids. And I'm not sure where they picked this up, but if anything happens to them, anything at all, like my granddaughter, like caught her finger, not in a door, but it just one of those where something bumped her finger and it hurt for a little bit. She immediately ran to the closet and got a Band-Aid. It wasn't bleeding. It wasn't, and the pain of it had gone by the time she put the Band-Aid on. But so that's their fix for everything now, is we're going to put a Band-Aid on it. No matter what happens, we're putting the Band-Aid on it. And it's like, okay. So it's like, where are we putting Band-Aids? Where are we doing the quick fix rather than taking the time to really look into what it is that needs to happen? And sometimes the quick fix is what we need to do. And sometimes even when we're doing that longer term growth, more things come up. It's kind of like when you are digging out a new garden, you get to a layer and a layer and a layer, and the further down you grow or you dig to get that rich soil as far down as you can, more things can come up. And so we again shift that perspective, shift the perspective to look what I have overcome. Look at how that contributed to where I am today. And then look at how do I shift? How do I shift my thinking? How do I shift how I act? How do I shift my perspective to go for this longer term? And some of the things is that it does require a conscious effort. And it requires us adopting practices that promote this. And sometimes that's not going to be the easy way, may not appear to be the easy way. And meditation is one of those things that can help us. It can help us reduce stress and improve our mental clarity. A tool that I use is visioning, where I open myself up to what is spirit's highest expression of whatever it is that I'm doing. The question of what is mine to learn from this when I'm in a situation. Because there's another thing that Ernest Holmes says, and this comes also from the Science of Mind textbook, that all of our beautiful dreams, all of our wishing and praying for material goods will reach no higher level in our experience than our belief in the power of God and its willingness to help us. God's willingness to help us is expressed in the existence of that immutable law, which gives us exactly the type of objective experience for which we build a mental likeness, and I would say a sensual likeness. One of those sayings of, I can only get what I'm willing to take. So what can I do? What can I do personally? What can I do for this center? Well, I can go into, a suggestion is it's a gratitude practice of going into quiet reflection on 3 different experiences from your past. Experiences that you now understand contributed to your growth. And note the lessons that were learned and the strengths that were gained. And then set a clear intention for the day of what it is you choose to experience. Set a clear intention of your aspirations and nurture them. And visualize yourself taking, if you need to, small but meaningful steps toward that goal. And if you're interested in visioning, I would invite you to join us tomorrow at noon. And you can get the link off of the calendar on cslmetro.org. And as an organization, as CSL Metro, as this beautiful spiritual community, we can all go back and look at where we have been and where it is we want to go. And how can I help? How can I help right now? There's so many ways to help. There's so many ways to be involved. Even suggestions, ways that I can help. I can be present on Sunday. I can, there's a lot of ways to support Sunday. We call it tech, and I want to shift that, because it's not so much tech. We're not having to set anything up. It's really just running the it's running the PowerPoint presentation. I can go out into my community. I can start a discussion group in my own, where I am. I can start either a spiritual living circle or a study group like we're doing in Connecticut and in Delaware. So my opportunity for each and every one of us today is to take time this week. Take time in the morning to just look at one aspect of your life, one thing that has contributed to your growth. Look at it from the perspective of what I have achieved, what I have overcome, if that's the word that works. And what lessons did I learn? And then set your intention for the day of what it is you desire to experience along the lines of that goal. And I don't even have a quote to leave you with today. Wow, I know. What I wanted to also express is that we are coming into this time of Passover. Passover starts I think it's on next Sunday. And Passover is a celebration of freedom from bondage, but it's also a call to prepare the soil of our soul. And that we can leave behind that barrenness of the past. We can look at it from a different perspective and begin to nourish that inner ground where we are with hope and faith, and that a new life is taking root. So we can remember the journey the journey of those in bondage in Egypt. And so I close this with that challenge of setting my intentions for the day, asking myself, what is my lesson to learn today? What is mine to do today? And I invite each and every one of you to ask yourself, what is mine to do to support my spiritual community, CSL Metro? And so I'd like to close us with the spiritual mind treatment, with our affirmative prayer. And I invite you, if you choose to close your eyes. And be in that space that Libby took us into in our centering, that heart space where nothing can harm us. There is only the oneness of all. And I know with certainty that there is one source of all in the universe, one source, a power and a presence that is greater than anyone, myself included, could ever comprehend. It is love, it is joy, it is beauty, it is light, it is harmony. And I rest in that. I rest in knowing that. For it is that which creates, sustains, and animates all in the universe. Always creating from itself, as itself, so that everything is its own creation. It's never consumed by that. It is always creating. And so what I know with joy in my heart is that I am a creation of that. I am an expression of love. And I know that that is true of everyone here today, everyone who hears my voice, whether it's here on Zoom or on Facebook or hears this later on Facebook, whatever. If you hear this now, we are each a creation of the divine. We are an expression of it. And that within each and every one of us is the essence of all that love is. And so in declaring this one supreme being, this entity, this power, this presence, that each of us has, I claim for each of us. I claim for each of us as gardeners of the soil of our intentions, of our dreams. That as we move forward in this week, as we have this clear intention of experiencing life to its fullest, to allow ourselves to experience our own spiritual magnificence, that we see with those eyes of God, we hear with the ears of God, and we speak with the voice of God. And we see that we open ourselves up to that seeing the God in everything and everyone. As Libby so wonderfully said, that the one of us that is here right now, for there is only one. And so it is with joy and gratitude that I release this intention. I release this declaration of love into that immutable law of which Ernest Holmes speaks, the one that only returns a yes, the one that already knows. And so I let this go and I let it be, and so it is. Amen. Ashe.